Today we're going to be starting off by showing you what we use the most, especially in the spring. It's February in Michigan. It's still snow, still ice. We're waiting patiently for it. Hopefully it's pretty soon, but we're getting really antsy to go out. So I'll start off by showing what I use the most in the spring, especially. Well, pretty much all year. But the good old Ned Rig. I like using, this is a 1/10, but I like using 1/6 or 1/10. It just depends on how deep you want to fish and just the presentation you're throwing. And I'll rig it on for you to show you what it looks like. See if I can't mess this up. Looks pretty good. But that's pretty much what it looks like. And it sits on the bottom nice and straight up in the air so the fish can grab it, dance around, and you just hop it along. It's, what's the word for it? Or the worm floats up so it doesn't sit flat in the bottom. Buoyant. Yeah, it's buoyant, which is nice. Before I've used, like cut up dingers, I mean, you can do that, but when it's buoyant, it, like I said, it sits straight up, which is nice. Then I also use, so that's the green pumpkin Gobi color. I also use junebug, so if the water's dirtier, obviously it's going to show up a little better. I'll take one out for you. So that's a junebug, a little bit brighter, just works better in darker water. Then, for pretty much ice out once again, I like throwing an X-Rap, which is jerk bait. Dives, I believe, like 2 to 4 feet. As you can probably tell, maybe on this video, that it's pretty beat up. I've caught a lot of fish on it. Throw it a lot on a medium rod. Worked pretty good. Then I also use the gold color, which also shows up really well in the water. I mean, you can try either or color, but that's my two favorite colors. We also throw, believe it or not, Cleos. That's also my favorite color, the gold and orange. Those are pretty good. Obviously, when they're going through the water, they kind of spin. That's why I have a snap and a barrel swivel tied up to this one. They work pretty good. And then this another color, that's my favorite, the green or the blue and silver. What's also nice about these is you can throw them quite far, obviously, because this one is a 2/5 ounce, so you can cast them a mile. So if you're fishing from like shore, they're so nice to use because obviously you can get out to where the fish are. We go out in waders a lot of times, so it's nice, obviously, because we can get out up to at least our chest and cast these out. Same with the X-Raps, they cast wonderful too. I think they're 7/16, I believe.
Yeah, the size 10.
Yeah, we use size 10. And then these are Red Eye Shads. They're a lipless crank or a rattle trap, whatever you want to call them. This is red craw. This one I've caught a lot of fish on. Obviously, you want to use crawfish presentations in the spring because that's what a lot of bass are feeding on, and it shows up really well in the water. This is a 1/2 ounce. This is probably one of my favorite colors. I've caught a lot of fish on them in early spring. I've used them early summer too, but they work pretty well ripping out of the weeds, yo-yoing back and forth, whatever works. It's another one of my favorite colors. It's like a chartreuse. Also works really well. And it's green pumpkin craw, I believe, or chartreuse, whatever you want to call it. It's one of those. Then, oh come on. Then I also use a Shadow Wrap Deep. I've caught a lot of smallies on these, like up north. Caught a couple largemouth on them. People say they like to crack. I have yet to have a problem. I've owned them for 2 years, cast them quite a few times. Zero problems. This is the Gone color. I believe they die 4 to 6 feet. Work pretty well. Then also again, Mossback Shiner, which is the same color as my favorite X-Rap. Caught lots of fish on this color, so they work pretty well. And then obviously a popper, which works well obviously in the summer, not ice out. But that's one of my top favorite lures. This is a Popar, Rebel Popar. Caught a lot of fish on them, as you can probably tell by how beat up it is once again. They're pretty well. Then I also use Now they do work also. Ice out is a Keitech. Just a little swim bait, classic swim bait. And this is the Smallmouth Magic. And then we're using a 3/16 tungsten Keitech weight, which so it sinks nice and fast, and it's still pretty small because obviously it's tungsten. So with lead you have to have a bigger head, but tungsten is heavier, so you can go downsize. So I'll show you how to rig one of those up. Go right down with the hook through the back. Now one thing I do recommend, this year I need to buy some, is some glue. Pretty much when you cast these things and once you get a couple bites or even just get them snagged in the weeds, they get pulled down. So you got to glue these things on. Ned Rigs also, you should glue them on. This year I'm gluing them on because I'm getting sick of taking them off all the time or trying to fix them and all that fun stuff. Then another one of my favorite ice out lures is an original floater. What's nice about original floater, this is the F13 and perch color, is you can reel them nice and slow. And you can keep them, they go 1 to 3 foot. So if you want to have it on the surface, you can reel them super slow. They just go nice and slow and roll back and forth. I believe you can also jerk them a little bit to give them a little bit more presentation, but it's up to you. So that's the perch color in F13. Then a gold color, which is probably my favorite, and an F13 original floater. Then we also have jointed floaters, which work really well if you want a little bit more action. Once again, they still only dive 1 to 3 feet, but which is up to you guys what you want to use. I mean, I think I prefer the jointeds because they give a little bit more action, but it just depends. But I think that is all I use. I'm going to put it over on my buddy now.
Alright guys, welcome back to Pure Michigan Outdoors. We are doing our favorite overall lures, and my favorite by far, just like Andrew, is the Ned Rig. And unlike him, I prefer the 1/10 ounce because I throw it on real light tackle, 6-pound line. This is the green pumpkin Goby. It's the best all around color, but in dirtier, murkier water, you can't beat the junebug. Something about that flake in there. And then also, for real clear water, I use the Canada Craw, which looks like that. It is a very good bait fish imitation. And I don't know if we said it, but we use the Finesse TRDs because they are way more durable than any of the other ones that we found. But I fish it deep, shallow, all over. Sparse cover, wood, rock, weeds, you name it. Hop it, swim it back, whatever. They munch it. And then my next favorite, Andrew talked about the X-Trap, the normal X-Trap right here. But I like the deep, get down to the fish, and actually this exact lure I caught probably about a 6-pound smallie on it out of up north, northern Michigan in Lake Bel Air last year. And here is, so that's a size 10, and here is the size 8, which I also like a lot, especially when throwing it on real light gear. And here's another size 8 in the purple ghost. I've caught a lot of fish on that. Just a little sucker, but they work. And then also I've caught a real nice smallie, a bunch of them actually, on the Rapala Shad wrap. This is the gold color. It's an old school gold. I don't know if they make it like this anymore, but it kind of has the scales on it. And I caught like a 5.5-pound smallie on that. That color is really good, and then also just your standard silver. It's hard to beat silver or gold. And then compared to that, I like that because it's way better in colder water with the, it's flat sided, so it has a nice roll to it, nice thump. This, they are hard to cast though, so these, the DT6s and the DT4s, are both real good for cold water. I prefer the silver color again. It's the best all around here in Michigan at least. So those work real good. And then my favorite jerkbait is the old Husky Jerk. These things kind of have the same action as the original floaters, but they're plastic, so they're more durable, and they dive a little deeper, somewhere 3 to 5 feet roughly. I use that color, the purple sunfire I think it's called, and then also it's like ghost blue minnow or something like that, little chartreuse belly. Just got a lot of flash in the water, and that's the size 10 in that, and I also use the size 12. I prefer the 10, but the 12 catches them too. 3 hooks. And then sticking with Finesse, the old Keitech. And here's a 4-inch easy shiner on the Keitech round ball tungsten jig. I think it's the 2-aught hook, but it's a 3/16 ball head, and it catches them anywhere you go. Slow roll it, hop it, whatever you gotta do. But so that's these, the 4-inch easy shiner and smallmouth magic. And then I also like to throw the 4-inch swing impact in smallmouth magic also. And I change colors up a little bit. Like if I'm up north, there's a lot of Gobis that they feed on. So here's the Goby color. It's got a little purple in it. They really like those. And then I think that's about it. At least in cold water, I prefer the 4-inch yum dinger. I use O-rings, but the wacky rig is hard to beat. That's the watermelon red flake color. And then also, here's a green pumpkin purple, which is my favorite all around. Anywhere there's bluegill or bait fish, it's really hard to beat. That and the Ned Rig are real good. But I think that's about it for all these lures. Will work from ice out until ice on, basically. But stick to your jerk baits and your swim baits and Ned Rigs for ice out, and you should have success just like we do. Hopefully we'll have a bunch more videos coming real soon. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.